Welcome to our new series, The 200 Movie Challenge. Our goal this year is to watch 200 movies that we haven't seen yet. If you want to listen to the full podcast where this clip is from, the link will be in the description. Now enjoy today's movie. So this week, after last week, my wife did Les Mis and she wanted me to see that. I'm like, I didn't know what to watch this week. A lot of times I don't have an idea going into it. I just go into a streaming service and just see what pops up. But this week I'm like, both my movies I took from requests. And the first one came off of Twitter, or X, excuse me. When we first started this, I obviously put stuff out there. And there's someone who I used to play some Call of Duty with a long time ago. She suggested two movies. Operation Fortune with Jason Statham, which wasn't free. But the second movie she suggested, and one that I did end up watching, is the movie Lift. Coincidentally enough, with Kevin Hart. Going back to this discussion now. Before we get into this movie, Soto, I do find Kevin Hart funny. I like a lot of his stand-up. I've not seen a lot of the movies that he starred in, because if we talk about the times when I stopped watching movies, the last 10, 15 years, whatever, like that's where he kind of got big. I do remember some older movies he's been in when he was the side character, 40-Year-Old Virgin. I think he was in Soul Plane. So again, he was a great side character, but I've never seen him in a leading man role that I can think of because, again, I've not watched a lot of movies recently. So whatever. I'm like, I need to go into this blind. I'm going to see Kevin Hart film and the movie Lift. We're going to play a game in a little bit, but have you seen these movies? Do you remember Ocean's 11?
I sure do.
Do you remember Italian Job, The Score? The part about this was a lot of this was predictable. So everything that we've watched movie-wise, this just followed the formula.
Yeah.
So they start off with like the big, caper in the beginning, the cops are watching, and you're like, well, this is the beginning. They're going to somewhat get away with this. And I'm like, yep, there it is. Yep, they get away. Oh, they tricked the police that was watching them, blah, blah, blah. Like everything played into, everything played out. I said, okay. Now, Soto, but one of them did get caught because he's kind of master disguise and they see him. And, the cop who was a former love interest of Kevin Hart, guess where that's going to go at the end of this movie, Soto?
Yeah.
Wow. Kind of like, well,
It's like I'm watching the movie.
It is. And it is. You're watching everything that has happened in basically theft movies, heist movies. That's the word I'm looking for. Heist movies. Heist. Yeah. I was trying to get the word.
Heist is different than bank robber. It's a little bit.
Yeah. No. I was trying to get, that's why I said The Score, Ocean's 11, Italian Job. Those are heist.
The score was terrible.
But I barely remembered, but I just was trying to rattle off things that, anyhow. So yes, they were like, well, we need your help because now this one big guy played by Jean Reno, is basically moving gold, and they want Kevin Hart and his team to steal the gold from him, and in exchange, they get immunity from everything they've done in the past. So my God, it's $500 million of gold. Now, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think Kevin Hart and his team are going to basically steal it and give it to the cops, or is there going to be a trick at the end where they've stolen both? So the action scenes were fine.
Yeah.
The hard part about this was just such an uninspired movie.
Oh.
Everything was formulaic. Kevin Hart, I did laugh at some parts. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. It was enjoyable for what it was. There is nothing new. Everything that was happening, I called out. The whole premise, they are not going to steal like the crate of gold. They're going to somehow steal and swap the plane where the gold is traveling on. So that's kind of the big thing. That's kind of the idea. So
that's
they're going to.
Kind of cool.
It is. So right before, they have this plan, because obviously they got to trick, the air traffic control, someone's got to steal the other plane. One guy's like, I can't do this. This is, too much of a risk. And I'm like, nope, he's going to still be a part of this. He's just going to do something different. And lo and behold, yes, there was always a backup plan. So I'm like, that's the problem. Like everything I was watching, I'm like, I have seen this movie multiple times in different formats. There was nothing new that it brought to the table outside of Kevin Hart. And I try not to laugh at him getting into a fight scene. I'm like, dude, you're little. I'm sorry. Like
that's what I thought this movie was about. Because when you said it was called Lift, I was like, is it about the lifts that he wears in his shoes? Like, what could this movie possibly be?
Nope. Yeah, everything we're like, we're going to lift the plane. That's the word. You're laughing, but that is a line in this movie.
I believe it.
It was a fun watch. I'm not going to lie about it. It was just nothing new. I am going to go next week. I'm going to forget about this movie, but it was everything we have seen in heist movies.
Did Jean Reno double cross them?
No, he got caught because he was the bad guy. It was just there was a separate cop that that was kind of the head FBI agent and whatnot, that was going to blow up the plane with like the love interest slash other cop, basically, because the one that likes Kevin Hart.
Sure.
Anyhow, and yeah, so he got the gold, but because of the switch, it wasn't the real gold. Kevin Hart stole the $500 million. It was just like everything. I'm just watching this, like, oh, this is going to happen, and it does. Oh, this is going to happen, and it does. Great cast, again, fun movie, but Soto, yeah, I watched it. And it's not memorable. Like, I think I was doing other things while this movie was playing. I was getting kind of writing for this. I'm like, give me something original, and it didn't. And because of that, Soto, don't worry, it's not going under the bed.
It can't. It can't.
But it's going right above it. It's going right above it.
Sure.
Which
even
puts it right
it's better than under the bed.
Here's the funny thing. It's right underneath Tag. To me, Tag, yes, as silly as a premise as it is something fucking original.
Sure.
Like, yeah. Tell me any movie with adults playing tag. You can't.
No.
Tell me a heist movie. I'm sure we can list off 10. Hell, you kind of watched one, in a way. So
I did, yeah.
And again, they can be good. Just give me something different. And yeah, so this was not probably Kevin Hart's at his finest. It wasn't a comedy. I mean, obviously, it had funny parts, but it was more like an action thriller, So it wasn't like a Jumanji or things we've just talked about. So I am still gonna watch more of the comedic roles that Kevin Hart does, because I think I may check out Jumanji, but Lift was just, I was bored with it, and I didn't want to be. Again, some of the action scenes were fun, they're great to watch, but it was nothing new. I called everything that happened, and I'm laughing. I'm like, yep, here we go with this. I just couldn't, and that's why it is so low on my list. Give me something new. But it's a Kevin Hart film, so I'll leave it at that. Kevin Hart.
I think you like Jumanji a lot better than this one.
I probably, like I said, I like the rest of the cast. I like The Rock. We just talked about Jack Black, but that is meant to be more of a comedy, So I'm like, I'm going to be okay with that. Lift was just, again, a heist movie that we've all seen. If you watched many movies, you've seen Lift. You could probably be writing right now a heist movie, slip it in, and be like, oh yeah, that's pretty much Lift right there.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I can picture the whole movie.
Yeah, see, and there it is. As I was talking, you're like, oh yeah, I kind of know that plot point. Oh yeah, I know that plot device. And you're like, yep, that's it. And everything happens. They drink their champagne at the end, and that's it. But yeah, I mean, the cast, they made money. They made a lot of money throughout this. But yeah, no, Soto, it wasn't, like I said, it didn't give me anything new. I mean, so it's not the worst thing I've seen, but it's kind of second to last right now. So
fair. Yeah, that's okay. There's a big ocean between Under the Bed and Lift, and I'm sure
there'll probably be stuff in between. There's going to definitely be stuff in between. Like I said, I mean, for those who just want a mindless action thriller, it's fine. Watch it. If you haven't seen heist movies, then you might, it just kind of spoiled it for you, but maybe you'll forget. But yes, if you've seen heist movies, you've seen Lift. I'm sorry. Our series kind of goes into spoiling. It happens, I mean, except for when we think the other, I know you're not going to probably run out and see Lift. I mean,
no.
It's not on your list.
Nope.
But you know what? I took the request. I always said, if anyone answers or comments a movie, if it's free for us, I will do my best to check it out. So yes, I will definitely. That's why I checked out Lift and Operation Fortune. I mean, Jason Statham. I'm kind of thinking that's going to be the same movie, but if that's free, I'm like, well,
it's the same fucking movie. If you are into Jason Statham, then you know exactly what you're getting into.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.